Hi, Jackson. My name is David Abels, and I'm the CTO and chief engineer in what has been a family of small startup companies, all built around a particular sensor technology. And over the past 20 years, we've had a lot of different partners that we have worked with, many also trying to start different businesses. So I've seen a lot of different things fail, and only a very limited number succeed. And so my role has been more on the technical side, but I've picked up a lot along the way, and I wanted to share some of that with you based on your pitch that you just gave. So the first thing that I would get into is some of the things that I thought were really good. One is that you had a very good idea on understanding what can cause this type of a social venture to fail. And so you had a good sense for scalability to start with a very limited audience where you could get a lot of buy-in from a limited number so that you wouldn't have a case where none of my friends are on there, so why would I bother going? It also gives you the ability to have a much smaller infrastructure to support that. And then once you see that that's big, then you have to look at scaling. So that's a very good thing. You also had that you'd also clearly had put some thought into how you would generate revenue. And so you were able to outline a few of those options, which any investor is going to look at for the number one thing, because at the end of the day, the investor does not care about how great your idea is. They only care about, if I put money in, am I going to get more money back, and am I going to get it quickly? And then the last thing that I really liked was that you had a backer that you could point to that was someone who has had some success with another venture that was going to be in your camp, that could act as a mentor and could provide some sort of assistance. And any kind of link like that is a really good means of legitimacy. So that was well done. So now going through some other feedback, the first thing I would talk about is just the overall idea. The number one thing I think someone would ask when they saw this is, how is this different from what I already have? I can already text my friends when they're out there. I can already look on Facebook and see who is online, and I can talk to them whenever I want to. Why do I need yet another social media app or another means of communication? What I gathered from listening on through the presentation is that you have this ability, sort of the combination of Facebook with existing friend networks and online stuff and sort of online dating, where you do a survey that helps pair you up with other people who could be there, and that you focus more specifically on geography. But I'm not quite sure why you focus on geography, because it still seems like it's mostly an online communication where it doesn't matter if you are in 2 blocks from each other or an entire continent apart. And so that was a little bit buried. I think that's the thing you really want to make very clear from the beginning of what makes this unique. You also mentioned the idea of gifts, and that was sort of a key thing for revenue. And I wasn't really clear where the value came and why I would be compelled to buy my gifts through you, as opposed to something like Shutterfly or any of the other sort of customized gift options that are out there right now, especially given that that's not something that I typically do all that often. So if you want to increase that, you need to show a very clear way on how you're, number one, have a compelling reason to do it through you, and number two, how you're reducing barriers to that so it's very simple for someone to do. And high school kids who are not going to have a tremendous amount of disposable income would be motivated to do that. The second main thing in my overall theme is that ideas, lots of people have ideas. You could put smart people in a room, they could each come up with a dozen very valid ideas that could possibly be good companies. It all comes down to, can you actually execute what you have said? And so that's the thing I would really look for you to add to what you have here. The first thing is, I would want to see some mock-ups. What makes this different from Facebook? How does this feel? And even if you're not a programmer, you could mock stuff up by drawing on paper and showing what a screen might look like just as a wireframe type diagram. You could mock it up in PowerPoint, so you could click on something and it would take you to another slide. And that would be remarkable to know that you'd thought that through, of what the experience should be like for the user, because otherwise all I can do is picture something that I already have, in which case if I'm picturing that, then I don't need something else. You also, on your revenue, you talked about some different streams. You talked about ads and subscriptions. So now what I'd want you to do is take the next step and find out, how much revenue are those generating? How large of a user base and how large of an advertiser base, or how large of a subscription base do you need before you become profitable? Because that's the number one thing that an investor will want to know. When I put money in, when does this start to become actually valuable and worth something? So my final things is one, don't talk about if this launch, and I might. If you want people to buy into this, they need to see that you are more bought into it than they are, because they're investing less in the concept than they are in you. and they want to know that you can pull this through to something that's there. And so I would say you want to make sure you have a good, clear problem. You describe how you solve it. You want to say when it becomes profitable, what you need to get there, and then how you're going to get there, how you're going to scale, when you're going to scale. And you know, I like that you're already thinking about how to form alliances, because those are how you're going to get places. And so the next thing you need to do is just go that extra mile to just show that you've thought this through to a point that here's something that now you can see that being fully realized, and all I need to do is just have someone help make that into reality. Good luck.